Amanda, we're here in Wabash trying to help the town by helping small businesses. There's lots of small business here, including some bars and restaurants. Why Harry's Old Kettle Saloon?
Well, Harry's is a staple. It's been around for decades, and I think that's so important in today's day and age. We're really losing that traditional community gathering place. We all spend more time than ever isolated in our own world, and a place like Harry's isn't just a business. It's a community unto itself. So making sure that the Old Kettle sticks around, we're doing more than just helping the owners. I think we're helping the whole town.
Small towns across the country are fighting for their survival, with the odds stacked against them. But what happens if we join that fight? If we dedicate a little money, a lot of experience, and thousands of hours of work into one small town, focusing on the businesses at the heart of their main street. Nearly 10,000 people wrote in to tell us about their favorite community, and the country voted for one winner. Now, marketing expert Amanda Brinkman and her team at Deluxe are going to work for the people of Wabash, Indiana, and they've brought along entrepreneur Robert Herjavec to help revitalize the town. Every episode, we're working with a new small business to see if we can change the odds, if together we can start a revolution.
As far back as I can remember, I've cooked. I can remember my sister having me stirring cake mixes with her. I was probably 5 or 6 years old. One night I was in the Old Kettle Saloon with some friends. Owner looked at me and said, "Harry, why don't you buy this place and serve food?" So I just answered right back, "Why don't you sell it to me so I can?" The Old Kettle started life as a drive-in restaurant called the Howdy Bob back in the 50s and early 60s. And then in 68, 69, they converted it into a bar, and it's been the Old Kettle Saloon until I bought it. It became Harry's Old Kettle Saloon.
Welcome. I was really thrilled when I found out Harry's buying this place. It was needing a big boost.
I want to tell you, as soon as he took over, immediately you could tell the change. It just seemed brighter and cheerier.
He really invested in the place, revamped the selection of booze. But mostly it's the atmosphere. It's knowing that you're safe because Harry's got your back.
What I like most is the mixture of people, from 21-year-olds to 80-year-olds.
We have people telling us their parents have their first date here. Thanksgiving, it's like homecoming. All different generations will be here that night.
My older brother worked here when he got back from Vietnam in '68. He'd always talked about the good people here, so I've been coming ever since.
I hate to say it's a family tradition, but if you're gonna go hang out somewhere in town, this is kind of the place to be.
The fun we have during football games and just the rivalries.
Well, you call it fun.
Oh,
I
yeah.
call it torture. Because I'm a New England girl. But I just come in, with my Tom Brady shirt and my pom-poms and my megaphone and just make everybody mad.
We have a good time in here. We're looking forward to the kitchen being open, hopefully.
This June will mark our 4-year anniversary, and the kitchen is still underway. When we went to the building inspector, he was like, "You've got to have architectural drawings, you've got to send it to state plan review." Seems like there's always an obstacle in the way. Not a day goes by, someone doesn't ask me, "Got the kitchen up and running yet? How long? What's the menu?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?" Have an answer for you.
At first it was exciting, and now it's just like, ugh.
So we can come this way. This area is going to be like where the waitress station is going to be. We've removed all the flooring. We've got a jump start on that. We've installed the exhaust vent. This was a big expense. On this side, we've got to finish the plumbing. Gas lines need to be run. I've probably got about $45,000 worth of equipment. Another $10,000 or so to go would finish it out. It's scary, not knowing how this is going to work its way out. I got bills to pay. I got payroll next week. There's been a couple sleepless nights.
I work on tips. I mean, that's what you do as a bartender or waitress, but between 11 and 3, we've got people filtering here and there, or people come in and ask, "Do you have anything to eat? Do you have lunch?" Well, no, our kitchen isn't up and running yet. I just think that we get so many more customers. Harry'd be making more money, I'd be making more money. All together would just be great for Wabash in the long run.
I think Harry and Judy's story is one that a lot of entrepreneurs would actually identify with, because building a business almost always costs more than you expect it to, and most small businesses don't have a lot of capital to throw around. There's a reason that nearly 60% of restaurants either close or change ownership within 3 years of opening. It's just hard to make it work. Harry and Judy have made it past the 3-year mark, but they still aren't getting to run the business the way they want to. They don't actually have a restaurant yet. And getting to serve food isn't just important to them, it's important to the whole Wabash community. So I'm gonna meet up with Judy to get the lowdown on Harry's Old Kettle Saloon. So how are things at Harry's? Is he pretty passionate about it?
He is. It's something he's always dreamt about, having his own place. And he's made such a good name for himself as far as his creativity and cooking and stuff that people have been waiting for that.
Yeah.
And I think
he does have a great reputation in
Oh,
town
he
for
does.
cooking.
Oh, he really does. He's a great chef.
And right now he's traveling to
Taylor University.
Yeah, he's a chef
working
there right now. And does he do that to supplement income, or because he just misses cooking, or what's the balance there?
Well, pretty much the whole income thing right now. He drives about an hour away, puts in a full day there, and then comes to the bar and puts in pretty much a full day here. I help out when I can, if I can, but I work full time. You know, when we first took over the Kettle, one of my friends who owns a business said, make sure that you pay yourself first. Harry doesn't do that. He makes sure everybody else is taken care of, and then whatever's left.
I hear that Harry will give people rides home if he feels like they've had a little too much to drink. Is that true?
Yes, it's true. He does.
That is taking being a bar owner to the next level. That's amazing.
Harry's a great guy. He really is. Like, there's nights where Harry's just exhausted, and I'm just like, just stay home, let her close, you know. He will not. He refuses to let the bartenders be alone at closing time. He doesn't leave until they're driving off. He's very, very considerate like that.
You both have full-time jobs, and then you're also trying to man the bar. Does that get to be a burden?
I mean, we barely even talk to each other sometimes. I mean, it's a week goes by and we're like, whoa, we need to like sit back and talk to each other for a minute. I think just really getting the kitchen done, it'll be a big stress relief for him. But I don't know, we just don't have time for it.
Good morning. You're listening to the My Bash Morning Jam on 105.9 The Bash, and today is a good day in Wabash because if you're anything like me, you might find yourself, heading down to the Kettle once or twice or maybe 6 times this week, and you might be tired of having to leave anytime you get hungry. Today, the Main Street Revolution will be at the Old Kettle working on getting that kitchen going. So head on down and see if you can get Amanda to do a shot and tell him to hurry up already. I'm hungry.
We know there are a whole slew of things we've got to think about from a marketing standpoint in order to add that restaurant piece to the Old Kettle. But there's also an element of this move that's just going to come down to the numbers. Is this new direction financially viable for them? So I want to bring in Robert for a deep dive on the Kettle's books.
So we've got some food set up in the back if you want to follow us.
Wow, that looks really good.
You know, the beans, they're like Boston baked beans.
Of course
I did them in
Boston
the
baked
bean
beans.
kettle
I
thing.
love the beans. Best beans I've had here.
Wow.
So, let me ask you this. You opened the first year. What were the sales in the first year? You knew I was going to ask that.
Well, you can see here.
So, here's what the numbers tell me. When you took over the business went from $141,000 a year to $258,000.
Yes.
That's a huge jump in sales in a very, very difficult business. If you would have told me before I walked in the store that this would be your sales, I would have said to Amanda, you've been drinking all day. Well, she has been drinking all day.
But he would point it out.
Yeah.
Really? Without me?
Yeah. Everybody who came in here for you guys.
Yeah.
It feels like a family in here.
It
like
does.
You have that
It's really great.
feel.
It's like cheers.
We wanted people to say Norm when we came in.
Wade's our new Norm.
Yeah.
Wade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the big radio star.
So exactly what you wanted to do, you've done. That's the good news. The interesting news is in those 3 years, your sales are flat to down. So whatever the magic was that got Harry's off the ground has done this. And you've got to work 2 other jobs to support a great business. It should be paying you.
Everything that we're making is going back into the bar, off the bar.
Into things like the kitchen and interior improvements.
Okay, so I got to believe your margin is at least 50%. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
What were your expenses on that? At the very bottom of that of the tax form, do you remember the number it says? How much money the business made?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
You gotta know that number.
And especially if, I think it just makes us nervous if you're going into the restaurant business and you don't kind of know that going into it. It's gonna be so hard for you to tell whether or not that was a good decision or... For Harry and Judy, it's obvious that the kitchen is as much about following their passion as it is about increasing sales. But we're not here to tell them what to do. We're here to support what they want. I think it's great that you have such a passion for the cooking. It's clear that you want to be a chef again and you want to do that here in your own establishment.
I've tried to get out of cooking before. I've tried to sell insurance. I've worked at a factory. Always gravitate back. It's always come natural to me. It's something it's a passion.
I love that.
Well, this year your goal is to open the kitchen. Certainly should be a goal to do it without having to take out a loan or any of your personal savings.
Yeah. Today you're working to exist. You got to start working to live.
Yeah, very well said.
Yeah, exactly.
Just having somebody reaffirm some of the things we were doing makes me feel really good. But just some of the accounting and things like that we need to work on. And when that's not your forte, it's a little hard to enjoy doing it.
Harry really knows his sales. That was really impressive, but he hasn't made that correlation between what the top line sales mean to making money. If you don't know where you are today, it's very difficult to make a change. Change is hard for your customers. And I think that's where good marketing can help.
They've got the love of cooking covered, so it's our job to make sure that the venture is successful. And a solid marketing plan is going to be a big part of that.
Harry's Old Kettle Saloon with an actual old kettle up top.
I can't believe there was actually a kettle.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a long-standing bar here in town. I mean, people love the Old Kettle.
Love the business. They've already got customers. If I already have a pretty good customer base, what's the benefit of redoing my marketing and online presence?
A big part of it is, so he's findable online, especially from a tourism perspective, because there's about 20 different directories you can put a restaurant on, and you have to have your menu online to be able to show up in those directories as well. Online presence is really big for restaurants because you have to start building that trust before people even walk in the door. Over 70% of diners trust online reviews, and they trust these reviews as much as a personal recommendation from a friend. The other thing that we can do is we need to help him actually print the menus.
The menus.
We can just do a number of different branded items, tabletop tents and things like that.
I think my final comment for Harry's, I feel like we almost owe these people a basic accounting 101 lesson. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, because I didn't know anything when I started, but all these businesses are going to struggle to get to the next level without more accounting knowledge.
We've got some good ideas about how to help Harry's make the restaurant leap, but ultimately it's all going to come down to execution. We need an entire team that can be collaborating on the marketing end of this while the contractors are building out the kitchen and Harry is prepping his menu. So that's where the Deluxe team comes in.
The Creative Lab is where our teams collaborate to try to come up with the best ideas. In this room, we have expertise that covers logo design, email marketing, website design, search engine marketing, social media marketing. Really, the best work happens when our teams come together and we're talking face to face.
I love the idea that we can kind of get rid of the name Saloon and bring in the actual kettle as an icon.
With Harry and Judy, I don't think they have reserves if the restaurant needs 3-4 months to get going. I think we have to hit the ground running.
Specifically destination visitors, that's really going to be, I think, where the growth opportunity is.
Harry is still about $10,000 away from being able to finish his kitchen, so that's going to be our big focus for him. Really finish the space.
So we're getting some progress done. They've started on the ceilings. You can see this. Hopefully this is some riveting video for you.
In addition to helping build out their kitchen, we're building a website for them as well.
It starts with a search. The people will link to the Kettle website and they'll be able to better understand what experience they're going to get when they walk in the door. That leads to someone actually visiting the Kettle, and then they share on social media, and that's sort of a virtuous cycle where it seems busier and more popular.
I wanted to try using Facebook groups in a really unique way for businesses, especially in Wabash. Let's build a family here. You already have it in person, let's build it online.
Marketing is one aspect, but we knew that we needed some experts in some other fields that brought in more of that business expertise.
From a gross profit standpoint, you can start tracking those margins.
I think if he's just starting out, he needs a menu design that can be changed easily.
Kim Bartmann is one of the most successful restaurateurs in Minneapolis. So we want to pick her brain on Harry's.
To me, starting with a smaller menu is maybe easier on you, but you're not really showing them what it's going to be right out of the gate.
Okay.
I want them to have to choose between 3 or 4 things that they want.
In the past 10 days, his Facebook community has gone from 0 members, because we created it from scratch, to over 1,600 people. That's huge, and it's just gonna grow and grow and grow and grow. We're gonna see this really pay off for the entire town.
There they are.
Oh,
Hey guys.
Welcome back.
Great to be back. Oh, good to see you.
The sign?
There it is.
Yes.
There it is.
And Pub and Grill.
Yes.
That implies food to me, Amanda.
It does.
Yeah.
Should we go show them the new kitchen?
Let's speak of grill.
Yeah.
All right. All right, I'll show us.
Here we go.
Bam! Look at this.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So everything is hooked up, everything's functional. You guys hooked me up with this deep freeze, which is awesome.
It's so fun to see the kitchen come together. I mean, now they're really set up to cook. But the floor looks great. It feels so bright and clean back here.
So many people are so excited about the food. Initially, it was just overwhelming. Everything that had to be done, that was always looming over my head. To have Deluxe come in and help us do this, it just doesn't even seem real.
I have some stuff to show you from a marketing perspective if you want to look. Launching you want to see your website? Yeah? All right, let's go look at it.
After you, young lady.
Young, I like it.
Oh, wow.
Front and center we see Harry. So people are 2.5 times more likely to click on your site if it shows that you have photos. The first thing people see is food and you have a craft beer menu.
Just the website itself, I knew they would do a great job on it, but I didn't know they'd do that great of a job. I mean, it's like a real website. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, it's too cool.
So now we get into your menu. So 3/4 of the people who are searching for restaurants online do it in order to look at your menu. So it's very important to have that on there. It's so colorful.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm completely blown away.
Yes. Want to see a few other fun items? Okay. First of all, for when you have takeout orders, like this feels like a real restaurant, right?
It's kind of fancy.
No restaurant would be complete without your own custom coasters. The logo again fits perfectly on a coaster.
Get it for Clint.
Are you ready for my favorite part?
More.
More? I've got more in my bags of treats. A menu for you, ma'am. A menu for you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
A menu for you, sir. Where? The business card back. Look how great that logo looks against the wood grain.
That's so good.
Thank you very much.
You're
So
welcome.
the other thing you had is you had a meeting with the accountant.
Yeah, that went really well. I just felt really comfortable with him.
So Deluxe will pay for you to meet with the accountant through the end of the year, so you can have many more sessions. We want to make sure that you get on a good track with them.
Yeah. I was like, okay, where's the catch? This can't be real. Nobody just gives, this much help and goodwill.
It's like a dream come true. It really is.
I see here on your menu you've got a lot of really great choices, but I know one of the things you love to do is smoke meat.
You have a smoker back there? Oh, I love smoked meat.
I feel like I had something in my car earlier
You
that
did?
resembled a smoker. I should check. All right, well, what exactly? What?
Oh my God, it's
as much as behind someone else's truck.
Wow.
Get out of town.
Look at that.
Wow.
Look at this.
It's huge.
You're kidding me.
It was just such a great feeling. It's hard to put in words. It just warms your heart knowing, that the community is going to love this and they're going to come back and really support us.
Things like this just don't happen to people like us. Just because we work hard for what we have. I was brought up by a single parent, 7 of us and 1 mom, and we're all hard workers. And Mom instilled that in us. And so Robert and Amanda to come in and do this for us, it's like, it's mind-blowing. Really, the only way we can pay him back is just be successful and work hard. Because, I definitely feel like we need to make them proud.
People think
I got to get lucky. I've got to be from a big town in order to have something good happen to me. Harry and Judy, by hard work, they're getting ahead. I love the fact that we can highlight those kind of stories because at the end of the day, that is the fiber of America.
I think this is just the beginning of a whole new stage for them. Just like we're gonna watch Wabash get greater and greater, I think we're gonna watch Harry and Judy get better and better and stronger. Hopefully this will allow them to spend more time together. They'll both feel like they're actually living their passion and that they're not just working to make a paycheck, but they're doing something that they love around people that they enjoy. It wasn't about just kind of this one lucky moment. It was a culmination of who they have been as people. They deserved this. Join us next time on Small Business Revolution Main Street, where we visit Ellen's Dress and Bridal and talk about ways to bring more people into Wabash to do their dress shopping.